have to leave early, or if technology isn't on your side today, which always happens. With that, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Gillian. Again, Gillian, thank you for guiding us today, and thank you to everyone for joining us. Enjoy your practice.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to be guiding us through a womb yoga practice, which is a practice that's really special to me for women. So it may be a little bit different than what you're used to. It's an energy practice. It's a softer practice, and we will be doing some meditation to connect with our hearts and our wombs. So even if you don't have your physical womb, know that your energetic womb space is still with you. If you are on your moon time, or if you're pregnant, this is still a safe practice for you to do as well. The charity that I am collecting for, it's Yoni Shakti, the movement. Uma Dismore-Tuli is the founder of Womb Yoga and Yoni Shakti. And this organization works to help women and highlight the abuse of women in yoga. So if you feel called to donate to that, feel free. They have an Instagram page too, which is at Yoni Shakti, the movement. So with that being said, I'm so thankful that you're all here this morning. And I'm going to sit back on my mat. If you have blankets, blocks, bolsters, whatever you need to make yourself comfortable in this practice, have all your tools with you. I see a little dog. Is it a dog or a cat? I love seeing animals practice. So thank you, and we'll go ahead and get started. So as we begin, I'm just going to invite you to find a comfortable seat on your mat or in your space, or any position where you can feel grounded and connected with the earth beneath you. I have two teachers for this practice who I just want to honor before we begin. My first teacher is Melanie Swan, and she's in the United Kingdom. She has the Sacred Womb podcast, and she teaches womb medicine. And then, as I've also mentioned, Uma Dismore-Tuli, who is the founder of Yoni Shakti and some of these womb yoga practices. So as you find your comfortable seat, if it feels safe for you, close your eyes or just bring the gaze to the tip of your nose as we begin to connect with our heart and our womb or our womb space. So as you drop in, just become aware of your breath. The sacred vessel, your body. And this practice is about feeling, about honoring the feminine form, the feminine energy. Often we spend a lot of times in our head space in a very linear pattern. So I invite you now to drop into your body's intuition. We'll bring our left hand to our heart center and place the right hand on top of the left. And as we find ourselves here, begin to feel your breath. Feel the beating of your heart. And if you can, just connecting to a sense of gratitude for something, for this time to practice. for this beautiful body that you're in, for the breath that nourishes you. And once you feel this sense of gratitude in your body, slide your right hand down to your womb space, noticing what it feels like to rest a gentle palm here. And as you breathe, connecting the gratitude from the heart to the womb. And breathing from the womb back up to the heart. Sometimes it helps to visualize a golden thread or a golden light, connecting these two powerful energy centers together. And just breathing between these two portals. Gratitude and love. From the womb, dropping an energetic anchor from the seat deep into the core of the earth. And maybe finding a deepening of the breath as you breathe in from the center, up through the womb and into the heart. And then exhaling all the air out. Taking 4 more of these deep with breaths. After your next exhale, see if you can drop your energy into your womb space, connecting with her a little more deeply. And I'm going to give you a few prompts here and an opportunity to see if anything comes up for you without judgment on what comes up or whether or not anything does. See if you can sense a color. And if you track your cycle, noting what day you're on. And if you no longer bleed, sometimes we work with the moon. So the new moon being day 1, today would be day 13. And then ask your womb if she has a message for you today. Just taking the first thing that comes up. And then beginning to breathe the womb energy and your color up into your heart. Exhale down into your womb. Up into the heart. And down to the womb. Now, with the message you received from your womb, I invite you to ask your heart if there is an aligned action you could take to implement this message. And then taking a couple of more deep breaths, thanking your heart and your womb for their guidance. And on your next exhaling breath, you may wish to bring both palms to your knees and gently fluttering your eyes open. I'm going to give you a moment or two of space here. I did invite you, if you wanted to bring a pen or a paper or journal, just to note down any messages that came up for you. And you don't have to, but for those that are choosing to write, I'll share what came up for me as I give you space to do the same. So I am on day 2 of my cycle today, and my color was a magenta. The message from my womb was to take time this weekend to slow down. And so my aligned action is to do a shortened yoga nidra practice at some time. So just taking a minute or two to jot down anything or sit with what came up. If you need to shift a little bit, to move the limbs, roll the shoulders back, and to begin to add a little bit of movement into this practice. So just finishing up wherever you are, we'll meet back in a seated position and drawing the palms together at our heart center. Bringing your awareness to your breath. Breathing in deeply through the nose and out through the nose, maybe starting to cultivate a soft ujjayi breath where we find a slight constriction in the back of the throat. So the breath takes on this ocean sound. In this practice, I invite you to keep your body soft. So allow the belly to relax. A lot of yoga encourages the engagement of the core and the tucking of the tailbone, and there is absolutely a purpose for that. But it is good and healthy for our abdominal organs to relax as well. And we're going to begin with the heart-womb river. This is connecting the energy from our hearts to our wombs and into the great Mother Earth. Take a deep breath in with your palms at your heart. And as you exhale, we point the fingertips down, connecting thumb and index finger in an inverted triangle for Yoni Mudra, and just sliding the mudra down into the source, into the womb space. Bringing the palms together, breathing up into the heart on an inhalation. 2 more times like this. Exhale, Yoni Mudra, sliding the palms down into the soft space of the womb. And then connecting the palms, bringing them back up to the heart. One more time like this, you're welcome to keep your eyes closed through a lot of this practice and enter into your feeling and intuition. Now, the next time we take Yoni Mudra, pointing the fingers down, you can slide the palms out onto the earth beneath you as an offering of gratitude and love. And then as you inhale, reach Yoni Mudra overhead, connecting the pinky edge of the fingers together in Padma Mudra and drawing the lotus flower into our hearts. Yoni Mudra, fingertips point down, sliding to the womb, the earth, and up into the heavens, connecting to Padma Mudra and bringing the prana, the life force that we receive freely into our hearts. One more time, sliding Yoni Mudra down into the earth, up to the sky, connecting to Padma Mudra and bringing the hands to rest at the heart. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And then just allowing the hands to rest wherever they may. Begin to make some circles with your neck, one direction. Loosening any tension in the neck. And maybe slightly parting the lips, noticing if you're holding tension in the jaw. There's oftentimes a connection between tension in the jaw and the pelvis. So just be mindful that you're not clenching your jaw. And then circling your head in the opposite direction. Your circles can be small, whatever feels good in your neck. And then coming back to center, begin to roll the shoulders up to the ears, back and down, taking a couple of big shoulder circles. And then shrug. So as you draw your shoulders up to your ears, just let them release, and maybe even making a sound to further soften the jaw. One more time, releasing, and then bringing the fingertips to the heart. Maybe you start to notice prana flowing in the body. We begin to just tap our heart center. So we're freeing energy in the heart. We're freeing maybe some trapped emotions or feelings. So noticing what you feel, allow yourself to feel. And you could choose to stay with the tapping, or you might choose to add in a gentle circular movement over the breasts, just gently massaging your breaths, awakening the heart space a little bit more, freeing energy. You can circle in the opposite direction. Just doing, again, what feels good to you. There's no right or wrong way to practice. And you could also choose to free the energy a little more vigorously. It's almost like a shaking of the breasts if you feel that you need to wake things up a little bit more. You can stay with this, or maybe go back to the tapping or the circles. And then we'll begin to slow it down and just bring your palms to rest facing up on the knees. And just close your eyes for a moment or two. You might notice sensation in the palms, sensation in the heart space. And allow yourself to feel what you feel, see what you see, hear what you hear, trusting in your body's intuition. And then taking the palms onto the knees, we'll begin to do a little rocking movement. So it's a little tuck of the tailbone, almost like a cat pose. And then a little tilt of the tailbone back. And just connecting to this movement of tucking, of tilting, starting to feel this watery essence in the pelvis. Working into Swadhisthana chakra. The movement can stay contained and small, or you might take it a little bit bigger. So this will depend where you are in your cycle. So if you're in your winter time and you're bleeding, you might choose to keep things nice and small and contained today. Or maybe you're feeling a little more energy and you're wanting to move and rock a little bigger. And then we take this rocking movement shortly into a circular movement. So just slow it down and come back to center. Bring your awareness to your nostrils and notice which nostril is a little more open for you today. So the direction that will circle is in the direction of the more open nostril. You're welcome to take a finger to each nostril if you need to check. And for me, I noticed today my right nostril is a little more open. So I'm going to be circling in that direction. So with the hands on the knees, now we just begin to make this circular movement. And the reason that we just do that little check-in with the nostrils, it's just maybe there's a little more freedom of energy on that side, but also it gets us out of this pattern where we're so used to, maybe in yoga or other practices, always leading with, say, for example, our right side. And again, because we're women and we're cyclical, we work a little more intuitively. So the direction that we move will change each time we come to practice. Just noticing how it feels here in the pelvis, in the spine. You might be aware of an area of the body where there's a holding pattern or a little bit of trapped energy. And this is not about trying to force anything, but it's just an awareness. And the more aware we are, the more we do these practices, the more things naturally start to free up when the time is right. And then just taking that circular movement and moving in the opposite direction. You might feel very different on one side. And now slowing it down as we come back to our center. The legs will now come out into a V shape. Comfortably wide, we're not forcing anything. And there's just a soft flex in the feet. And we take the arms out in front of us. So whichever nostril was dominant, you're going to interlace your hands and place that thumb on top. And then going in the dominant nostril direction, we begin to imagine that we're just stirring a large pot. And again, if you are on your moon time or you're pregnant, you might keep the circles a little bit smaller. If you're feeling a little more energetic, you can make the circles a little bit bigger, working a little deeper into the hips, the hamstrings, and the low back. Noticing if the pelvis feels a little freer, and if it still feels tight, maybe bring your awareness back to your jaw, maybe a yawn, a sigh. A loud exhale can again help to free things up a little bit more. Next time you come back to your center, you'll take this circular movement in the opposite direction, reaching forward and pulling back into the heart. And then slowing things down once again, pausing in center. We'll connect with Yoni Mudra at the womb space for a moment, thumbs and index fingers pointing in this downward triangular shape. Taking a moment to connect again with her energy and noticing how she is responding to this practice. Oftentimes we listen to our heads, our thoughts. We may even listen to our hearts, but how often do we take this time to drop into our source, the center of our female power, our life source? And as she starts to respond and starts to open up to you, it may just be with a little bit of relaxation, a softening of the belly. Things may come through in whispers rather than loud voices. Thank her for her wisdom, for her guidance. And then letting the fingertips come back to the earth. Gently begin to walk your hands out in front of you. Now allowing the feet to relax, allowing the spine to relax as you come into this gentle forward fold. Let your head, your neck relax. And just once again, come within. If you have a bolster, you may wish to place it below your chest, or maybe drop the head down onto a block. And then when you think you have relaxed fully into the posture, see if there's another 10% in a place where you can just drop in a little bit deeper, let go a little bit more, trusting in your body's safety net. And then beginning to walk your hands in slowly. You can bring your hands to the outside of the legs, draw them together. And bending the knees, place the feet on the mat. Just let the hands come behind the hips and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And from here, we'll swing our feet to one side and come up into a tabletop position. If you need your blanket for your knees, feel free to place it directly under the knees, or if not, you can move it off to the side. So just finding ourselves in this nice tabletop position, neutral spine, and then take those circular movements again through the hips. So maybe working a little bit bigger. And you can always check in with your nostrils from time to time during this practice, because sometimes as we move through these practices, the dominant nostril does change. So you can use your finger to check in, as we did a few moments ago. Sometimes the more you practice it, you can notice straight away. And then taking those circular movements around in the opposite direction. Again, soft belly, relaxing through the hips. Just almost treating this practice as a little love letter for your body, knowing that not everything has to be hard, has to be challenging. Finding this balance between effort and ease. And then pausing in the center. On an inhaling breath, let your belly drop, your tailbone lift, your gaze lift as you come into a cow pose. As you exhale, round your spine and look to the belly, to the womb. Breathing in, arching, tucking the tailbone, opening the chest, the shoulders, and rounding through the back. And again, just doing this with your breath, with your movement. And your next exhaling breath, widen the knees, sit the hips back to the heels, and we'll take a moment in child's pose, resting the forehead, the third eye space to the earth, letting the body become heavy. On your inhaling breath, rise up onto hands and knees. Arching your back, lifting your gaze, rounding your spine, hollowing out your belly, arching your back, lifting your gaze. And if you are pregnant, just moving forward and back through these cat-cows. If you are not pregnant, bend your elbows and lower your heart and your chin to the earth. Inhale through a gentle cobra. Exhale, we'll all press back, hips to heels. Taking an inhaling breath, rise to tabletop, arching the back on that same inhalation, rounding the spine on the exhalation. Inhaling to arch, and again, moving forward and back through that if you're pregnant, or lowering heart and chin to the earth. Breathing in, untuck the toes, gentle cobra. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. One more time. Inhale, tabletop, finding a gentle arch of your back. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Inhaling, arching through the back. And now you know the drill. You can keep arching and rounding or lowering heart and chin to the earth. Untucking the toes, easy cobra. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose, rest. And the rest is every bit as important as the movement. So we focus in womb yoga on the area of the hips, the pelvis, and also the heart. So there's a lot of energy that might be being freed up in your body through these practices. So rest, notice, and maybe even take a note of what's coming up from you. And your next inhaling breath will lift up into tabletop, maybe taking a check-in with the nostrils again. And then taking that dominant nostril, placing the foot to the outside of the hand. So now we're in this lizard lunge shape. Slide the opposite knee back. And then finding that circular movement again, you can turn the toes of the front foot out slightly as you just work into the hips a little more deeply. So for anyone who may be pregnant and practicing today, or also if you are on your moon time, we have this hormone in the body. It's called the relaxin hormone that softens the ligaments. And it's much more prevalent during pregnancy and on our moon time. So you might not be working just as deeply into some of these hip movements. Keep it a little more contained. And then circle around in the opposite direction. Maybe you even press the hips back so it goes into a little half split. Finding this snake-like movement through spine and pelvis. And then settling forward into your lunge. You can keep the front foot flat on the mat or roll to the outer edge of the foot, maybe taking a hand to the thigh, gently pressing away, opening the heart up towards the sky, closing the eyes down again if that feels comfortable. Notice how when you take away one sense, some other things feel heightened in the body. And then bringing both palms to the mat if they're not already, sliding your front knee back so you're in your tabletop. And maybe taking a wag of the tail, a sway of the hips, or another circle or two. Even a cat-cow, whatever feels good and right in your body. And then we'll move to the second side. So taking the opposite foot forward into your dragon lunge. Feel free to use your hand to help the foot move forward. Slide your back knee back a little. And then just finding those circular movements through the hips. And noticing those areas that feel a little stagnant or stuck. And if you notice a place that feels a little tight, you could even pause in mid-circle and just breathe into that space a little bit, encouraging it to open up. And taking your circles around in the opposite direction. And then pausing in this lunge, maybe keeping the foot flat again or rolling to the outer edge of the foot, lifting up through the heart. And do check in here, so checking in with jaw, with breath, all these tools that we have within us that will tell us how we're doing. And then bringing your palms flat to the mat again. This time, tuck your back toes, lift your knee, and take a big step forward, lowering your hips into a squat. So you're welcome to sit on a bolster, a block, or you could even sit down and take a squat position with your seat on the mat and your knees wide. If you are in your Malasana squat, you can press the palms together or even connect to Yoni Mudra again. This mudra will widen the hips a little bit. So create just a little bit of resistance by pressing the knees to the elbows as well as the elbows to the knees. Again, just choosing what feels good in your body today. And then lowering the right fingertips down to the earth in front of your right foot. Take a deep breath in. We'll reach the left arm to the sky, looking up, opening up and reaching up. And then bringing your left fingertips down in front of your left foot. Breathing in, stretch the right fingertips up. Then bringing your right hand to the mat, lift your hips. So we're coming into a standing position. And you want to roll the spine up slowly. You can keep the feet a little wider than hip distance here. And we're going to take the standing heart, womb, river greeting. So this connects us from the energy again of the heart to the womb to the earth. It's an offering of love and reverence to the womb and the seed of the earth. And it's also a receiving of the prana shakti, which is the energy and the power of life. Let's start with the palms together. And it starts similar to what we did when we were seated. And as we go through this practice, we have a gentle bounce in the knees or even a slight undulation of the pelvis. So again, just finding this softness and this rooting of the feet firmly into the earth. And then pointing Yoni Mudra down to the womb. Again, you can bounce or slightly undulate through the hips. And then taking this down towards the earth into just as deep a squat as you feel called to, then reaching Yoni Mudra up and over our head, opening the fingers, connecting to Padma Mudra, and then dropping it down into our hearts once again. 2 more times, Yoni Mudra down to the womb, down to the earth, up to the heavens, connecting back into the heart. 1 more time, pointing downward facing triangle, out to the earth, up to the sky, and into the heart. Now take your palms out in front of you, facing up. Whichever nostril is more free, we turn in that direction. Taking an exhale. Coming back to center. And over to the opposite side. Back to center, inhale. Exhale, twisting. Now as you move back and forth here, you're looking into your palms. And maybe you place a seed of intention in your palms. What are you looking to receive? More love, more gratitude, more understanding. And then we come back to center and pause. Now we take the arms wide, gathering this prana, this energy, and we're scooping it and scooping it and scooping it into the center, gathering it, and then placing the hands, interlacing them with the dominant nostril on top. And what we receive, we give back down to the earth, because we know that what we receive is to be given away. And then we rise back up, reaching the fingertips to the heavens. And because we have freely given, we receive this prana shakti into the heart once again, down into the source, and then the palms face up. Now we turn in our non-dominant direction again, following the palms with the eyes, witnessing the seed of whatever we have intended, resting in the palms, maybe starting to sprout or grow. And then coming back to center, scooping the energy, the prana once again, encouraging all into the center, interlacing the hand, this time non-dominant thumb on top. We bring it down to the earth, freely giving away. And as we come up, we freely receive and bring it back down to our hearts. Now with the palms together, we're going to slowly, it's like you're swimming through an ocean of this power of life, this prana shakti, and you're just moving in this snake-like fashion, keeping the knees bent. And then pause and center with the arms outstretched, palms facing each other, pressing together firmly. And now you bring the backs of the hands together with the pinkies up. Swim the arms back behind you. Beautiful. Now gather all this beautiful energy in once again. Interlacing hands, dominant thumb on top, offering to the earth, up to the heavens. This time, connect your thumb and your pinky finger and let the prana move like ribbons, like waves, like rain, down, down, down to your heart. Bringing the palms together. Reverse that triangle and connect all that beautiful energy you've received so freely back to your source. And just pause for a moment or two here. Feeling the energy in the heart and the womb. And then bending the knees, coming back down into our squat. Toe heeling the feet together. Allowing the tailbone to descend to the earth, bringing the palms together at our hearts. Bringing your hands behind you, lowering your seat back down to the earth. This time pressing your feet into the mat in front of you. You can bring your hands behind your thighs and slowly lower the spine all the way down into the earth. Bringing the arms along by your side. And we're going to connect to this tucking and tilting of the tailbone once again. Take a deep breath in and just, you're not lifting up into bridge, but you're just tucking your tailbone. You may lift the hips an inch or so from the ground. And then as you exhale, you find this tilt. So you're creating this lumbar curve. And we just rock, tucking and tilting the tailbone with the breath at your own pace. This is a really nice release for the low back if you are having any menstrual cramping. I know it helps me a lot. And just noticing how this action feels as we come to the latter part of our practice and our time here together today. Noticing if the pelvis feels a little freer, a little more relaxed. And then just slowing it down as you pause and center. We're going to move into a reclined butterfly position, bringing the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to fall apart. If this feels very uncomfortable and you have a couple of blocks, you're welcome to take the blocks and place them just under the knees. If this still does not feel right in your body, you could just rest with your feet on the earth. And then connecting again to Yoni Mudra, thumbs touching, index fingers pointing down in this downward pointing triangle. And as you connect with your womb again, breathing deeply into your source. Noticing the loving touch from the palms, the warmth from the palms, and the gentle rise and fall of your belly into the palms and back from the hands. Noticing if your womb is communicating to you again. Tuning into this practice of deep listening. Take 3 more breaths here. And as we prepare for our final Shavasana, you're so welcome if you are enjoying the butterfly position in the legs to stay there. Otherwise, you may remove any props, extend your legs out, or place a bolster underneath your knees. Entering into the space of deep rest. Probably one of the most valuable tools that we as women can do is to rest. Softly closing your eyes. Maybe bringing your left hand up to your heart and keeping your right palm on your womb. Feeling this connection with the back of the body, safely held in the womb of the earth. Knowing that you are so safely held, can you let go a little more? And noticing the front of the body, open, held, and supported by the heavens above. And you are resting safely in the middle. You are so welcome here. Breathing, relaxing, maybe noticing the gentle pulsation of the womb space or of any energy in your body. Welcoming it all. It is all a part of you. As we begin to bring our practice to a close, if you need more rest, feel free to stay where you are. Or if you're ready to move, maybe gently wiggling the fingers, the toes, moving so slowly, so gently. Maybe reaching the arms overhead, taking a big, beautiful morning stretch. And then slowly roll onto one side and just come into a fetal position. If you're lying down, feel free to stay down, of course. But just pausing for a moment or two there. And using your top hand to slowly make your way to a seated position. We'll bring our palms together at our heart centers. And tucking our chin to our chest. saying aloud or silently 3 times. I honor my heart, my inner teacher. I honor my heart, my inner teacher. I honor my heart, my inner teacher. I thank each and every one of you who showed up to practice this morning. I thank you from my heart to your heart for sharing this practice. And I bow to you in love and gratitude. Thank you. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gillian.
Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me share it.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was just exactly what I needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will hopefully see you sometime soon on one of the other classes.
I hope so too. I hope that you're seeing some notes coming into you from the chat, just about sharing such a beautiful practice. Awesome.
Thank you. Love to you all wherever you are.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Take good care. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.